cool.
All right.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, to the first podcast. We don't know what we're going to call it, but we might come up with a few ideas, and then we're going to ask questions and see what you guys want us to call the podcast. But yeah, so basically.
So I'm Radar. Anyway.
Yep. And I'm Harry.
This is Harry.
Yeah.
We work for a company called HARPY, which you've probably seen already because you're on the channel. And actually, I've got to find our way home.
Yeah, and so why he does that? So, we work for a company called HARPY, and we do lots of cool stuff, like filming fast cars and flying drones. And we thought it'd be cool to just do a podcast where we talk about like our experiences and a lot about the film industry and like new cameras, new drones, like all sorts of stuff. Like, so we sort of want to talk about a bunch of different things. And
I guess one thing is we have these conversations in the car on our way to set or on the way home anyway. So I think that's where the idea sparked from. And we're like, oh, you know, we should film some of these conversations because we end up talking about like new products on the way to set, or you know, new equipment, or even sometimes like just going to set talking about what it is we're actually going to do today. Could be kind of interesting to some viewers, I guess. So
yeah, exactly.
That's why we're here, and we don't know what to call it, but we're going to do it while we're traveling in our work vehicles to and from set and from jobs. So if there's any listeners out there, put some, you know, comments in and see what you want to call it and give us some ideas. But I guess it needs to be something about like traveling or being in the van, or I don't know. Something.
Yeah, like we thought the van, that was an idea, because it's like we were just going to be in the van. But it could be like, I don't know, it could be like drone related, film related, could be a bunch of different ideas there. But I really like something to do with the van, but and Radar has some ideas as well.
Yeah. But I guess like if we're going to pick a subject to talk about today, we don't really have one. It's just about like, this is like the intro to this podcast or the vlog or whatever you want to call it. And I hope you guys like it and that it's interesting to you.
They must like it. They must like it.
I guess what we can talk about is we just left a pub in Sassafras, which is in the Mount Dandenongs, if you're familiar with that area. And we've been shooting with kind of like a close friend that we've friended through the film industry, and we've been shooting an art piece for an Indigenous artist that we had to shoot 8K, and we're using a V-Raptor, and that was the reason that we used it, because we needed to shoot 8K, and we're shooting drone and we're also shooting on the ground, and we've had a 4-day shoot. It hasn't been consecutive days, although the last 2 days have been. So yesterday we were in Cape Shank, which is freaking awesome, and
it was sick. It was freaking awesome.
And the weather, how good was the weather?
Yeah, we've had that's like we've had consecutive days where it's like sunny and then raining, and then sunny and then raining.
Is that your sausage roll from
yeah. Because I just saw it.
Yeah.
I just saw it. So anyway, yeah. And now we've got like consecutive sunny days, which is good.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be turning to shit tomorrow, so we've been really lucky with the weather. And also, like, I think today was a little bit breezy and windy, but because we're in the Mount Dandenongs in like undercover in the tree canopy, and we're kind of like in a bit of a valley and stuff where it wasn't so windy. And then yesterday it was just pure luck that it was like really still. Cape Shank's known for being really windy and, you know, almost hurricanes. Whoa, dog's gonna die.
Yeah. Maybe that's what we should do. We should get a cam that's actually looking in the direction of the van. So
that's
then we
a great
can cut
idea.
to what we're seeing.
Yeah, where we're driving and stuff. Yeah, so we'll do that for next time. This is a new thing, so
we're working it out.
Yeah, we're working it out as we go. So yeah, we're going to put another GoPro on the outside of the vehicle, and we'll probably roll up with one of those little remote GoPro things.
Oh yeah.
And then the other thing is, we don't have it today, but we're gonna have like a GoPro on a selfie stick. So like, if we stop to get petrol or something happens where we hit a kangaroo or something, we can just jump out of the vehicle and like keep things rolling and keep talking. So yeah, we're kind of pretty excited about it. We've been meaning to do this for such a long time, and we're so busy all the time that we're rushing to like get out of the studio with all the equipment, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, we should do the podcast, and we're like, oh, it's too late, we've got to get out of here. So today is the first day, and hopefully this sparks us to be more motivated to do some more. So, but yeah, back to the shoot. It was an art piece. It's getting displayed in a building in the city, 101 Collins Street, and what it is like, we're shooting landscapes, and as I said, it's for an Indigenous artist. So it's going to be displayed on these huge screens that are going, and it's 4 stories high in like a foyer of a building.
Yeah.
It's a business kind of district thing. So basically what they're trying to do is like, with the artwork and being in nature and how it is with the landscapes and so forth, that's going to like kind of like, you know, just bring some nature into the city, and so that these, you know, business people working
can relax.
However many hours they do at a desk and, you know,
relax.
Working on a computer, it just feels a little bit like bringing it back to nature, I guess. So we'll probably shoot some more about like the installation of when that happens, because there's a lot of mapping that needs to happen with the screens. The screen, if you can imagine like a 4-story screen that's in 9:16, and then it's like broken up into checkerboards, and then you like take out some of the checkerboards. That's kind of the idea of like, and then the whole image will be projected over all of them, so there'll only be parts of the image on specific parts of the checkerboard, which is kind of cool. So
I'm actually really keen to go and like see it.
Yeah.
Apparently there's like a little cafe, and you can actually sit there and then like look at it, like you see it as you're like having a coffee or something.
Well, I'm looking forward to the opening, which is kind of like a screening, and there'll be like, you know, champagne and, you know, reveal the whole screens and, you know, all of that kind of thank yous and stuff, which will be pretty cool. And maybe we'll shoot some of that. We'll take some cameras and that'll be a bit of fun. But yeah, we just finished at the pub. This is our like 4th day. It's like basically the wrap of this whole shoot, which has been pretty exciting. Today, as I said, we're in the forest, so we're shooting like a lot of trees, and we're shooting with the Alta because we had to carry the V-Raptor, and so we did some like top mount stuff on the drone and some bottom mount, and yeah, it was pretty tricky as a pilot. Like, I was piloting today.
You did a good job.
Harry was a little bit of everything today, like doing some focus, because we did do some close stuff, which is quite interesting, because pulling focus on a drone is not something that you do often, because you're never close enough to subjects to pull focus. We're shooting on Zeiss CP3s because they cover full frame and get the 8K. The V-Raptor's been pretty awesome, and we've only had it for maybe the last 2 and a bit months. And being able to shoot 8K at 120 frames per second was like kind of crucial for this shoot, because we did want to shoot a high frame rate at a high resolution to be able to like really slow things down, and so when they're up on the screens they look really cool.
Raining.
But yeah, we've had a real sunny day, and we just noticed that it's raining outside. This is why we need that camera on the outside, just to show you guys like the front view of like where we're going.
Yeah, it'd be really cool. Like, and then you can see you're almost part of the journey.
Yeah.
You're like part of the trip.
And I almost forgot like what happened yesterday with like all the drama.
Oh yeah.
Even though the weather was sick, we had like Harry had the worst day.
Yeah.
And if you haven't checked out Harry already, like check him out. His Instagram handle as an FPV pilot is Starfly. So at Starfly, check him out. At Starfly FPV.
Yeah.
At Starfly FPV. So yeah, he's an awesome pilot. We recently did a shoot for Athlete's Foot, which was it's a TVC which has a lot of FPV in it, and that was pretty. We won't talk about that. We'll do that for another episode. Yeah. But yeah, yesterday we went to Cape Shank. It's out on the peninsula, awesome day. And we went down the walk, which it's near the lighthouse if you've ever been there. And we shot some stuff from the top, and then we, like on the cliffs, there's quite high cliff faces there. And then there's this like walking track, and then I'll let you tell it, Harry. So anyway, the guy Dorian, sorry, I'm just cutting off now. I told him to do it. So yeah, Dorian is like the client that we're working for. He's a good friend of ours. One of the big reasons he wanted to go there was because of this cave. He wanted to shoot out of the cave, and to get to the cave, the only way you can get there is to do it in low tide. So you have to make sure you time everything. If you get in there and stuck while the tide's coming in, you could actually get stuck in this cave and have to spend the night or swim. So, but anyway, we shot from the cave. It was the tide was actually coming up. So we had to like really rush, and Dorian almost didn't want to do it because it was like he was like nah, it's getting too risky. And you have to like climb these rocks as well. So we had like camera and tripod, and Harry had a backpack on with like lenses and stuff because we had to be pretty mobile. Just as we were like finishing the shoot, and I'm like, man, we've got to get out of here really fast. I didn't want to get stuck trying to like get the camera out of there in the water and stuff, having to like tread through water. So Harry's like, I want to do an FPV shot for me, it's gonna look sick. And I'll let Harry explain.
Well, first of all, I got in the cave and I was the first one in there, and there was a freaking crab, so that was cool. It was like a big ass crab, so I was like looking at that for a bit.
You might have to yell so that it can come through, because now it's raining.
It'll be fine, but so I got out the drone. It's a bit of a rush, but I'm excited and everything. And then I just got all my gear on, and then I launched the drone, and I was just doing this shot where I start in the back of the cave, and like and I'm thinking like, oh yeah, this is pretty cool.
Should we cut and then roll up again when the rain starts?
I reckon because they're directional, so it should be okay.
I just don't want to get to the end and then we're like, you can't hear us properly.
Right, we'll cut.
We're going to cut
one. I'll cut
no, because you don't want to tell the story twice.
As I was saying, guys.
So hang on, we're back. We just thought, this is the first time we've done this, and the rain was real heavy, so we were just testing the audio to make sure you guys can actually freaking hear what we're saying. So anyway, back to Harry.
Yeah, and if the audio is bad, it will get better. We're just like, we're just working it out as we go. But anyway, so I'm in this cave and I'm flying the drone. I've started the shot and I'm like at the back of the cave, and then I just like fly out, and then I'm skimming low across the water because I don't know, I just love to get like as close as I can to stuff because it just looks so sick.
And at this stage, I've exited the cave and I'm just hanging, like, the cave's like up here, the hole, and then there's like a bit of a 2 meter drop, or maybe 3, and then the water, and I'm hanging like on the rocks, like looking up into the cave, like waiting for Harry to finish and like Instagramming him and stuff.
Yeah, and it's like, and we're sort of in a rush as well because we're sort of like, oh shit, if the waves like get bigger, then we're kind of
yeah, well the tide's coming in, every time the wave was coming in, I was like, freaking out, it's getting like higher.
Anyway, so I go out and I come back in, I go out again, and then I go back in, and like I'm like, okay, let's do it one more time. So I go out of the cave, I get this cool thing, I'm like real low to the water, it looks sick, and then I come back, and then I'm like getting so low to the water, and I was like, oh, this is sick. Like,
and I'm thinking to myself, because I'm like watching the drone going like, holy shit, he was like close to that wave.
And then I'm starting to pull up, like trying to go back up into the cave, and as I'm pulling up, the drone's just staying low, and I'm like, what's going on? And then I like full throttle, and the drone just starts going lower, and then I at that point I realized, like, no way, like the drone's dead, like the battery's dead, and then the freaking drone just like lands in the water, and it turns out I've grabbed a battery that I've already used, so like I've gone to fly with a battery that,
so he's put in a flat battery, people.
And like
experience.
And I've anyway, it's like the most embarrassing thing, and then Radar jumps in and gets it, And like,
Also, I sacrificed my iPhone in my pocket, which I totally forgot about, and just jumped in out of reaction to grab the drone and got wet.
Absolute legend. But anyway, like, as annoying as it was, I just had to like remind myself that it could have been worse, right? Like, it could have ran out of battery
20 meters away.
And then I was speaking to like some of my mates and my brother about it, right? And it was because I was thinking about it after when I drove home, and like because I came from like flying analog. When you're in beta flight like OSD, you get that low voltage warning that comes up when the battery volt hits like 3.8 volts. But in DJI you don't have that, right? And all you have is this little crappy like small voltage icon, and like it's like, yes, I should have like been checking it, but at the same time I think in those situations you need to have like something that you can clearly just see.
You know what would have helped you, I reckon? Those ISDT tags with the green, when you press it and it's green when it's charged.
Right, yeah, if I was in the habit of checking that.
Yeah.
But at the same
we can
time...
talk. I want to talk about those on another podcast.
It's a cool product we want to talk about. But I just thought, like, the fact that DJI doesn't have an actual, like, low like flashing thing that just comes up when your battery's low, I think it's kind of like it's bad, like, because obviously you should see and check your battery, but when it's like that small, and like other pilots watching this will understand what I mean, like when you're doing a really high pressure shot, like you're focused completely on the shot, and like
we were also like in a major hurry, like I'm like yelling at you going, the tide's coming in, and like
but
Dorian's like it's not safe, and
like I'm focused on piloting the drone, and I'm like so just so like in the zone of trying to like make sure I do it correctly that I'm not checking the battery. And like anyway, I should have like checked, but I didn't, and
that's what happens, people.
Made an error,
But he did waterproof like a lot of his components, so
but not fully.
Not fully. So Harry hasn't actually checked his drone to see if it is okay or not. He's going to do a process of like pulling it apart and stuff, like trying to just like check things and dry them out before like trying to power everything on and see what blows up.
And that actually is the other thing, like because I've decided now that I'm not going to fly like over water areas until I fully waterproof my drone now, because it's happened to me twice now, and I just think like it's not hard to do at all, and it's just so worth doing. Like you just waterproof the drone by covering it in like a silicone basically, and I should make a tutorial on like how to do that when I do it. But and then if it was waterproof, then I wouldn't wouldn't have to replace any parts on my drone. So.
I do feel like you've caught like my bug. So for those of you that don't know, like I'm relatively new to FPV, so I don't really do it on set, but Harry and some of our other pilots do. And but I'm notorious for breaking drones, losing them, putting them in water all the time.
So you just get so excited.
I get really pumped, and I just like thrash my FPVs. So my recent FPV, I lost it on a mountain trying to do like a mountain dive, and it like lost signal and stuff. So we'll talk about that another time. But is there anything else you want to talk about? That we're still like 42 minutes from the studio. So our studio's in St Kilda, so we were like an hour away from where we're shooting today. Also the rain's slowing us down a little bit trying to get back. I think we could maybe like finish it up here, and this could be our first little one. Make it quick and snappy, and if you guys have got any questions, or you want us to talk about anything specific about the film industry or drones in general, or anything to do with maybe filming with a drone, as we use like high-end stuff, and we work on like feature films and TV drama and TVCs, and we know all about that kind of equipment, and we've been doing it for quite a long time. So make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and tell your friends about.
Subscribe or else.
Do it. All right. We're out.
All right.
All right.
See you next time.
Peace.
Bye.